Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be week 2 of the weekly series taking on the New World Order Paranoia. This is going to be the good evil paradigm, which is extremely hard to see through. So let's start off with some preliminary stuff. I've already been down the road of paranoia with Alex Jones. I've watched all the 9/11 videos, blah blah blah. I've already went through all that. This video series is about helping you free your mind from that, just like I freed mine from it. Okay. Preliminary stuff too. This isn't meant to piss you off. This is meant to set you free. It may be hard for you to see right now that that's what's really going on here, but that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Insulting comments. If you want to sit there and call me stupid, dumb, and this, and I don't get it, blah, blah, blah. If you can't start your conversation out in a respectful manner, then I'm just probably going to block you. And a lot of it depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to block you. If I don't care, I may let it slide. But, you know, what I found is if a conversation starts out disrespectful, it just stays disrespectful, so why even mess with you in the first place? Another preliminary wisdom, the wise are controlled by wisdom, fools are controlled by emotions. So if your emotions are leading you, then you're in the wrong. Okay. Last week we talked about the most fundamental understanding, which is that it all boils down to growth, which I pointed out. Look around you, it's all the universe is about. It's not trying to kill you. And what will get you killed is not growing. Okay. This week we'll be talking about the good evil paradigm, which is extremely hard to see past. A lot of you ain't going to like it. This is really going to piss you off on a fundamental level. And I understand. I've been there, done that. Alright, so let's start out with some diagrams to show you how it works. Okay. This is basically, this is harmony. This is what's going on. Notice it's just cycling. Cycle, cycle, cycle. That's just harmony. That's what's going on. Then, somebody comes along and don't like the cycle. Somebody looks at this cycle and says, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. This is how the real cycle of growth works. Somebody comes along and judges it. Oh, but you don't understand, Billy DKY. I'm a good person. So somebody takes out of harmony. First moment you start judging things, you have left harmony. And so notice, this is good, and over here is evil. 90% good. If you watch harmony do its thing, you'll probably categorize it 90% good, 10% evil. And that in itself is the first beginning of failure. And so at that moment, you've created the good to evil paradigm, which all you've done is put an egotistical overlay to an energy flow. Okay? Now that's a problem in itself, but the real problem comes in when you start trying to manipulate. You say, well, I don't like this. I'm going to force this out. I want more good and less evil. That's when problems come in. So that's what I'm going to show you now, what happens when you do that. We're going to take a cult, for instance, because cults, oh, they can't handle life. They want utopia. Right here, right now, promising people utopia. So notice what they do. They squash out. They start up here. They forcefully push that evil out because that's what they view as evil, which is actually part of the growth cycle. They push it out, so they want 100 good, force goodness. But what happens, since this is not really, this can't be maintained, pressure starts building, cracks are starting to show, and you see these outward pressures, evil starting to come in. It's just going to make its way known. Reality is being distorted. Notice how the black is being all distorted? And that's what happens in those cults. Everything gets distorted because they're not in harmony anymore. Okay, and then boom, all of a sudden, that can only go on for so long, and boom, all of a sudden, it just breaks out in 100% evil. Notice it's all going, everything backwards, death and abuse. And so, basically, that's how cults work. That's the pattern. That's how it goes about. That's why you see them. It always leads to death. Anytime anybody preaches utopia, get the hell away from them. They'll get your ass killed. Now that'll save your life. Alex Jones probably won't. Okay, or at least it'll save you from getting abused as much. Okay, because usually people get abused when they're off balance. And when you want utopia, you're off balance. Okay. Let's take a couple examples of spoiled children. How does a spoiled child become bad? It's real simple. See the cycle again? Let's see, it's whitening out on me a little bit. There we go. Spoiled child, the parent says, well, I don't want to spank my kid. Well, if you don't spank your kid, the kid never comes back to being good again. It just keeps on going bad and bad until it just winds up being a hellion on earth and winds up in a pen someday because somebody actually, you know, it has to get bad enough that the world deals with it, and when the world deals with it, you go to jail. Same with political correctness. Oh, we can't criticize people. We can't say anything about anybody. Oh, you can't talk about race and how it's influenced things. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't saying be a bigot, but I mean, you can bring up race, surely. So that's where PC starts getting, you know, all kinds of distortion comes in. And you also seen that with white man and forest fires. Oh, the forest fires are evil. We got to put the forest fires out. Then what they do, they stopped all of them as soon as they started. Guess what happened? Instead of having a little forest fire here and there that cleaned out and was actually part of the growing process, they had big devastating ones that really actually destroyed forests. So they had to learn to let forest fires, you know, let the natural fires take its course, and then eventually is better off in the long run. Okay, and this one's going to be rough on you because it was rough on me the first time seeing it. Duck rape. I don't know if you've ever seen ducks. Most of the time they're in the ponds, they're doing a little thing. But there's a mating season. Oh, it is horrible, man. They tag team the chick. They find the females, they tag team her, wear her out, and then rape her. So I've seen that. And so this is ducks swimming around most of the year. Then over here is when this mating season comes along. And notice what happens. If you didn't like duck rape, which I didn't like, I tried to stop it the first time I seen it because I'm a good person, or at least I wanted to be a good person. But notice if I'd have stopped it, guess what I'd done? I'd have killed the ducks because they wouldn't have made it. That's just the way they are. It's just the way it is. You got to let things be what they are. Okay. So the real goal is to be at peace with the way life works. Not for you to try to, oh, I can't stand the way life is. I don't want no evil. Evil's part of the program. You may not like to hear it, but that's what it is. Alright, so this is going to be extremely hard on you. And I know if you're one of the people that suffered during 9/11 with, you know, one of your loved members being killed, this is going to be extremely hard to handle. But nonetheless, it is the truth. Why did 9/11 happen? 9/11 happened. Notice what we do in America. We're always clinging to goodness. We're clinging to goodness and being PC, politically correct. We're clinging to goodness and all. We're always clinging to goodness. We're always trying to prove evil out. We're trying to create some kind of utopia in America. And what happens? Well, when that happens, we can't go forward in growth, which is we're supposed to be expanding and bringing this globe together under one world government. And so what happens is evil has to come along and prod us along to do what we should have been doing in the first place. And therefore, 3,000 people had to die. Was it an inside job? Probably. Even if it wasn't an inside job, evil still was going to come along and prod us along. The real question about, and somebody brought this up, the real question is, not is in 9/11 an inside job, but can you become peaceful with 9/11? Can you be at one or peace with the New World Order? That's the real question you need to ask yourself. Do you really believe life is meant to be spent being filled with fear, paranoia, and anger? Seriously, it's not. One other thing I wanted to go back up to on the good-evil paradigm. There's a sign. Now, this looks like good. You go to the park and the ducks are swimming around and you throw the bread out. Oh, it feels so good. It's a good moment. It's a happy moment. But then what happens? Those ducks get used to you, and then when you leave, they can't fend for themselves and they die. So your goodness turned into evil. And there's actually a sign up in one of the parks that I looked at that said, "Do not feed the ducks," and it basically said that exact same thing that I just said. So don't get caught up in good, because good always, there's a harmony between good and evil that can never be broken. And if you try to distort it, it'll wind up causing a lot of problems. Like I tell people, the world is perfect. It's you that needs to change. If you would like to know more about Following the Way of Growth, click the first link in the information section of the video. If you want to watch last week's episode, click the video in the video response section down there. If you would like to see my other thoughts on conspiracy theories, click the playlist that just popped up. Next Friday, I will be talking about the ultimate security. I might have another page here. Anyway. So next week, I'll show you how to really stay safe in this world, or at least as safe as you possibly can, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you really want, because you know you're scared and paranoid, you want to be free. So I'm going to give you the ultimate freedom, or the ultimate security in this world, and it ain't what you necessarily expect, but nonetheless, it is what works. Again, I'm not trying to piss you off, just trying to educate you. Till next Friday, later folks.